I made quite a radical change. I decided to get rid of all my custom brushes. It's something that I leaned too much on, and I felt that it was in the way of me getting better. I know I've talked about brushes in the past, and I said, you know what, use whatever brush you want, and I still stand by that statement. Thing is though, for me personally, I think I let the type of brush sort of get in the way of my skills or the development of my skills. If I wasn't sure on how to tackle a problem, a certain amount of detail, for instance, or drawing some leaves or whatever, I tend to run to custom brushes, and I found myself lately browsing a lot through my brushes in search of the perfect brush for what I trying to paint instead of actually painting it myself. So to change that behavior, I made a radical decision and I deleted my entire custom brush folder. As you can see from the footage, I only have the normal default brushes which come with Photoshop Creative Cloud. And this painting I almost exclusively used the hard round brush with the pressure set to size, and I'm controlling the opacity by hand. I used a little bit of the soft brush for some lighting stuff, but it's almost all the hard brush, and I'm experimenting a lot with it. This is actually the beginning of the week. This is the first painting that I did with my newfound, no, not really new brushes, with going back to basics, and I'm actually quite happy on how it turned out. It really forced me to focus on the painting process itself, to think about what I want to paint, to think about brush strokes and stuff like that, rather than thinking about, oh, what brush should I use for this? No, you shouldn't think about that. You should think, how should I paint this? Well, that's for me personally. Of course, it may be different for you, but for me, it really got in the way of my creative process of getting better at painting, or at grasping color and light and values and stuff like that. I struggled in grabbing those concepts and working with those concepts, and by forcing myself to use a really basic tool, I have to think about those things a lot more, and I actually found out that it instantly helped me in creating better art. So the title of the video may sound like clickbait, but it actually was real for me. It is real for me. I am currently making better art than I was before I did this action. This is, I think for me personally, this is the evidence. I couldn't think of making painting like this before I made this change, and that sounds really strange, but I would have sort of drowned in finding brushes for the hair and figuring out how to do the detail on the robe, which only is a very small part of the painting, and maybe the detail on the face and stuff like that. But instead of trying to find brushes for that, I just got stuck in and painted it, and it was surprisingly quick. This painting took me 1 hour. And if you had asked me a week ago, will you be able to paint this in 1 hour? I'd say no. I can't paint faces. I don't know, no. Wouldn't thought that I could do it. So by taking a step back, I actually took a huge leap forward, I think. So far I'm really enjoying this sort of challenge. Is it a challenge? It's not really a challenge. It's more like a wake-up call for me to go back to the basics, go back to basic tools that we need. You can make beautiful art with just a ballpoint pen. I think this day and age, we see all the people around us having these fancy tools, fancy tablets, fancy brush heads, all that kind of stuff, and we are like, oh, I need that, I want that, so I can make that amazing art as well. But the way to make that amazing art is inside you, is skills, and you can only grow the skill by doing it, by putting in work, and no matter the tool, you can make it. So yeah, that was a really good wake-up call for me. And how will I go forward from now on? Well, I thought, you know what, I'm gonna delete them and I'm gonna see how long I will do it. But I think I set myself the goal now to do this for at least a year, to just really dive in and really get a good grasp painting before I reward myself with a new toolset. If I ever want that new toolset, maybe I will, in a month, I will be like, I don't want anything else anymore. But maybe in the end, I will be like, oh, this really helps me do certain stuff a lot faster. But for now, I'm gonna use the basic brush, the basic tools. I'm gonna tweak the settings here and there sometimes. For this one, as I said, it's only hard round brush with the size, the pressure sensitivity. I control the opacity manually, but I did some experiments today. Actually, it's Wednesday when I record this, and I experimented with a couple of different brush settings, a slightly softer brush, and with opacity set to the pen pressure, and gave me some interesting other results. So I'm really looking forward to see what I can actually do with this brush, and if I can come up with some cool paintings and stuff like that. Anyway, if you really want to go back to the basics yourself, I challenge you to do the same. And I know it sounds hard, and we always feel like, oh, we need this shiny new toolset to do this. If only I had this, I could do that. And I think I've lived that way for way too long. Always thinking, if I had that, then I could do that. No, just do it with what you have, and it will grow. And that's what this is all about. So let's grow together. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to follow me, make sure to subscribe and follow me on this journey to become a better artist, and let's take this journey together. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.